In all the things that I get to do, this is far and away my favorite thing to do, just because of the significance of it. You think about, thousands of kids have come through Big Oak, and every one of them's been a part of what we're about to get to do. It goes beyond just a bunch of words that are being spoken, and there is no right or wrong to where the kid is. It's just where they are and how they're dealing with the pain and the trauma that has come from a past that was not of their choosing. It's just what happened to them. It's a very intimate moment. It's very raw. Here, come on in here. As soon as that camera walks into that room, the environment will change. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Sorry, we're a few minutes late. Can I borrow you for 1 second? Awesome. And so we're choosing to not go in there. Yeah. Yeah, good. What's up, buddy? How are you, man? Do you know what today is? It's the promise day, right? It's our way of telling you what you can expect from us. It's our way of telling you what we commit to you. My mom and dad started this thing for you. They didn't know you, they had never met you, you weren't even a thought at that point in time. These promises were put in place 50 years ago. So every kid that's ever come through the ranch has gotten the same thing that I'm gonna get to give to you today. So you ready? All right, here we go.
First down, kick straight away from the 22. Here's the kick. It is blocked. It is blocked. The ball is picked up by an Alabama man to the 35.
The name John Croyle has become synonymous with Alabama Crimson Tide defense. An all-SEC defensive end, John helped lead the Tide to a national championship in 1973.
John Croyle,
It was an exciting time, and the natural step was to automatically go from Alabama national championship to the pros. I talked with Coach Bryant and told him that I wanted to play pro ball and get the money from pro football and build a home for children. And Coach Bryant just really was a very wise man, and he just said, don't play pro football unless you're willing to marry it. And I was not willing to marry pro football. And so he said, just follow your dream. And I did. In August of 1974, I moved out into a little farmhouse on a 120-acre ranch just outside of Gadsden. Within 2 weeks, I had 5 boys living with me. These boys showed me that we were on the right track. The dream was now a reality. The only thing that was here was an old farmhouse and 3 dilapidated old rundown chicken houses. Well, we took 2 of the chicken houses and tore them down so we could sell the 10 to have food to eat. These boys are boys that are orphaned, abused, neglected, homeless, had a little minor trouble with the law, and someone said, what do you define minor trouble with the law? And I said, well, one of them stole a school bus, which is not real bad, but it was loaded with kids when he took it. So he had 50 kids in the back of the bus riding down the road.
Imagine you're 23 years old, you've got a dog and some land and an idea and a dream, and you don't have a clue what you're doing. That was the early years.
I was dating a girl at this time. Her name is T. And when we were dating, we had these 5 children with us everywhere we went. Somebody asked me to ever mess around when we were dating. I said, how could we? Every time I reached to put my arm around her, the boy would slap my hand and put it back on the steering wheel.
I just said, I love you. Will you marry me? And we're gonna have 80 children. She said, back up, let's go through them one at a time. But she said, okay. Talk about crazy woman.
It didn't seem crazy. I didn't think he was a lunatic. Now, my dad might have thought that. For a long time, he would say, is he ever going to get a job? This was really foreign to all of our parents, what we were doing. It was kind of foreign to us as well. But I also knew that he had a passion and a desire to do this, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that he knew that this was what God was calling him to do.
You know, I've been put on this earth for one purpose, and that was to give these kids a home.
The early days were hard. For several years, we lived on my teaching salary.
There'd be no Big Oak Ranch if T had not been there during those tough days when there was no money.
There were times when we actually didn't have the money to pay the power bill or have enough food, but God always provided. There would be times when we would actually find cash in the mailbox, and it was always exactly what we needed.
So I believe in prayer and being a good Christian. Well, I'm not one of these Christians that prays and sits down. We pray and then get with it.
In the very beginning, I spoke at every chicken dinner Rotary club there was in the state. I went to every 710 club. I went to quarterback clubs, anywhere, anytime.
He was going all the time.
Well, he practically works himself to death traveling around the state and around the country.
Every penny comes from private donations. And John Croyle spends every spare minute talking about kids and Big Oak and trying to raise money.
What you're doing here tonight is helping us give these children a chance.
We knew we had a dream and we had a purpose and we had a goal. We just weren't sure how to get there.
I see many friends that have been here a long time. I see many new friends.
My guest this morning, of all the guests we've had in over 1,000 telecasts internationally, the person that I think is remembered most of all of those guests is John Croyle. You're wonderful. So you decided to dedicate your life and start a home for boys.
Absolutely.
You started small.
Real small.
Made some mistakes.
Yes, a guy walked up to me, he said, do you have a license? And I said, yes, sir. So I showed him my driver's license, and I realized that he was talking about a license to care for children.
We had a mutual friend, Bear Bryant.
Yes, sir.
He was your coach.
Mentor, coach, leader, fearful man. You know, I scared death of him. And Coach Bryant was on our executive board of directors, and one of the things he taught me was never compromise. If it's what you believe in, don't ever compromise. And we've taken that principle from the very start.
That's one of the things that I know will never, ever change, is a Christian home for children needing a chance. That's the bottom line, and there is no compromise on that. For us, the Christian viewpoint is the only way to make it work and to change lives. You got to get inside their heart.
Which is why he says the real credit for the ranch's daily success must go to the house parents. Couples he handpicks for the job of raising and caring for up to 8 boys at a time.
The mom and dad love them, nurture them, teach them, lead them, guide them, show them the way. In other words, prepare them for life.
We just say, this is a child that needs us, and we just open our arms and accept them.
There's so many times that I would think, oh my goodness, you know, these children's lives are in our hands, and then I would think, no, God's got them, they're in His hands.
Run, Joy, run! Run that way, run, 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 run!
It's a neighborhood for boys that just need a chance.
Through the narrows near Lake Elsevier, memories cover my eyes and Dad here. see them in the sun, the earth, the sky.
The Reader's Digest article starts John Croyle's Speck of Heaven. One cold and rainy October morning in Gadsden, Alabama, workers opened the door of an empty boxcar they were preparing to load. There, shivering in the beam of their flashlight, was a small boy. He had a can of beans and some cereal in a box.
The most impactful thing that happened to the ranch was the Reader's Digest article.
The men called the police, who immediately knew what to do with him. They simply called John Croyle.
It really changed the trajectory of the ranch. It gave us house parents from across the nation, supporters across the nation, and it really was a turning point.
There are 55 boys at Big Oak, living in 8 large homes. The statistics are impressive, but the real story is in the faces of the boys who know where they might have been.
Close my eyes, you're looking back at me. Out of all the mother's beauty that I've seen, there is none more beautiful than you to me.
In your life, you're going to have 4 or 5 plays that are going to make you the man, woman, person that you are. When I was 5 years old, I had a little sister that was 4, and we were at a funeral, and she pulled the tombstone over on top of her, and it killed her. And I saw my mom collapse, and I saw my dad catch her. And that was my first play, is watching her die. And the second play was the little boy from New Orleans.
I was working at a camp in Mississippi with children. And I met a little boy from the streets of New Orleans at this camp whose mother was a prostitute, and he was the banker and the timekeeper for his mom. And I told this little boy how he could become a Christian. The boy came back the following summer and told me word for word what I'd shared with him the summer before. I realized I'd been put on earth for a specific purpose. The fire that burned inside of my chest was take that same gift and try to help as many people as we possibly can.
That was the fire to start the Boys Ranch because of him. And that was play number 2. Play number 3 was Shelley.
Several years ago, found a 12-year-old girl that had been raped by her father while her mother held her down. And I tried to adopt the little girl, and because I had a Boys Ranch, they wouldn't let me have her. They sent the girl back home, the father killed her. And I made a promise to God that when the time was right, we'd build a home for girls.
Fantastic, John. Have we got the picture?
Have you ever done something and you were so convinced that if it failed or didn't, it didn't matter? You were convinced that's what you had to do. And building the home for the Girls Ranch, there wasn't a question. To be honest, I'd never even thought about not doing it.
So what did you think about John's idea to start a girls' ranch?
Well, I thought he was crazy, so you don't want to ask me.
All right, we're going to do this. Has everybody got one?
But that really is when the seed was planted that, you know, this isn't right that we just have a place for boys because there's so many girls.
Brody, y'all kick off to us.
Okay. You know, the ranch was really doing well, both the boys and the girls' ranch. And then our pastor at that time came and said, hey, I really think you should do this.
Wait a minute.
30 seconds.
Do you want them to tone down a little bit? Okay.
Well, this is another one where I begged him, please don't do this.
You ready to roll?
Please don't do this.
You know, probably one of the best things that's ever happened to us was the acquisition of a school. This school was a private school that was having some financial troubles, and they called us and said, if you'll take over the debt, you can have everything for $1.
But of course, we went right ahead and did it anyway. And I can say that it is the best thing that ever happened to the ranch. That's why John is the big picture guy.
It works every time. Okay? So, that's what we did. There you go. Look at you, buddy. All right. Yay. We now have 2 children, a little boy that's named Brody, a little girl, her name is Reagan.
There's not a square inch of this place that I don't have a memory of. And it's because I went straight from the hospital to the ranch.
Brody and I grew up at Big Oak, and Big Oak was home to us just like it was to all the kids who lived there.
Reagan, is it hard sometimes to share your dad with so many other kids?
It's hard, but it's worth it.
In what way is it worth it?
Just to see people's life change. It's rewarding. Makes you feel good that you can give something to somebody.
She has a total love and compassion for the kids and had from a very early age. But Reagan was not a girly girl, and she loved doing the same things that the boys did.
Probably grew up more competitive maybe than some girls, just because it was like, I'm better get in there and mix it up or, gonna get demolished.
Reagan signed a basketball scholarship with Alabama, and then she was homecoming queen, which was a really special moment. I think the difference between them was that she's more serious-minded, to say the least. He was our concern.
The idea of a fight, man, that was second nature. The idea of blood, it obviously happens.
What would happen, the older boys would be mad at me for a decision I would make. So they'd take it out on him, and they would throw him into the briar bushes, and he'd be climbing out of it.
Some of the early years, we really had some rough boys.
Dad was always like, oh, it's good for you. Toughen you up, get you ready for the NFL. When I was 11 years old, I walked into my parents' bedroom and I said, I'm gonna play in the NFL. It became my goal.
Brody Croyle, off to a good start in 2005.
It became my worthy goal. It became all I thought about.
He's got it! No flags!
The spot Brody Croyle now finds himself in is playing the part his father so willingly gave up. The Alabama All-American trying to make it at the next level.
Brody Croyle, the poster boy for this Kansas City youth movement.
Unfortunately, at some point in time, it became my God. But it's amazing how God can use what the enemy tried to use for bad and radically turn it for his good. Those 5 years in the NFL is really where I learned how to lead, because it was the first time that I didn't get to lead from talent, because I wasn't the best. But man, what I did learn to do was to serve, so somebody else's name could be chanted on game day.
So, after 5 years in the NFL, he said, I'm done. I think I want to retire.
She prayed for 5 years that her husband would find what God put him on earth to do, and it wasn't football. Brody came in and he said, Dad, I've always loved the kids. I'd like to come back. I said, let's go.
So it's 6:30. We're going to move cows in the fog. And the best part is Cody's got to wear a helmet. Big Oak Cattle was actually the first thing Dad cut me loose on. It's like when your dad gives you the keys for the first time, it's like, we'll see. That's what Big Oak Cattle was. Let's have fun. Let's go move some cows. That's like, we won't ever make any money off of it. Might not even be able to eat it, but man, if it can teach hard work, if it can teach discipline, then man, we did a service to our kids.
Keep putting pressure on him. That helps John out. Get kid.
All right.
Laughing at us. Really, there's drawings on the other side. We really should. I was just kidding.
This is business.
Use this one.
Business as usual. Anyway, sorry, I got off course there for a minute. All right, let's open up in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you. You know, sitting in this seat, it gave an awesome opportunity to just observe. I just started paying attention to going, okay, we feel like we're pretty good at this. We feel like we're pretty good at this. We should be better at this. I'm not even sure why we do this. So if it's not important, it doesn't move the needle, let's scrap it. One of the things that I knew from growing up was what happens to our kids when they leave us. And that's such a hard transition.
We watched our graduating seniors. They weren't finishing what they started. We had to figure out how to equip them. How can we add some more tools to their tool belt?
So Brody and I, we began dreaming about how to better serve our kids.
They need someone to guide them. They need someone to teach them. They're not finished yet at 18. And that program is called Ascend.
You don't know what you don't know. Definitely comes to mind. What we do know how to do is build homes. Now all of a sudden we got this vision to go build 40 homes. And man, we're gonna be able to serve 300 children. But man, we're still eating this elephant a whole lot slower than that elephant is growing. The amount of children that were in need, that number was growing faster than we could build houses.
A growing number of homeless people in the U.S. are children and teenagers.
Childhood neglect cases are increasing. Many state agencies point to the rise in opioid addiction.
When you get into the data, when you look at things like, fentanyl, that's a leading cause of death now between 18 and 45.
The drugs affect families, which affects the children, which is where we come with the trauma that comes along with that.
The data that was coming out of the CDC was saying that 1 in 3 high school young women actually considered death by suicide last year. And then 9% of our high school population actually attempted death by suicide.
One of the things we're seeing across America, and certainly in Alabama, is the breakdown of the home.
The traditional family almost doesn't exist anymore. You've got grandparents who are raising kids, parents that are on drugs, and I think that is what makes it difficult moving forward. I mean, it's unbelievable, and we're so far behind.
It's created a generation that doesn't have really any traditions. The church is no longer part of their family.
Homelessness,
child sex trafficking,
lack of proper education, mental health crisis,
drugs.
We could go on and on and on.
In our country, we're really good at deflecting that, hey, go check over in that country. Man, lots of homelessness with kids. Man, go check over that country. Lots of trafficking with kids. Go check over in that country. Lots of neglect. We got kids living on dirt floors that never slept in a bed until they came to live with us, and they live right down the road. Like we have kids that lived in cardboard boxes and don't even know who their next of kin is. We have kids that have been sold by their mother. That happens right here.
think that veil, like once you see behind it, you're just changed. You know, you can't unsee it. So it's either just live with that knowledge or do something.
These are real things that are happening. And until we know that we have the capacity to serve every one of those children, our job is not done. Every state right now is trying to figure out where to put their dollars. And they don't have enough dollars to put in to fund these services for children. And honestly, that was never the godly model anyways. The government tried to step in and do it, but it was always intended to be the church's job. Therefore, we're kind of playing catch up.
10 years ago, from the information that we have found, there was 3.5 million children that would fit what we said, hey, we can serve. Well, now, 10 years later, that number's almost doubled, but we have 40% less children's homes. Those numbers don't add up. We're in a dying industry. Man, how do we flip that? So we started to look back and look at how he started orchestrating that whole thing. He started doing it before I even knew what it was.
There are lots of people around the country that are coming to the ranch to learn how we do it and carry what we teach them back to their own states. And our future plans on down the road, and this is not next week, we're going to train and teach anyone to do what we do and give away everything we know. Since we were with you last, we've helped start children's homes in Arkansas, Tennessee, and Georgia, and in one in Colorado.
The reputation of Big Oak is so well known by now, one man recently came from as far as Uganda for advice on starting a similar ranch there.
The dream has remained the same, and the dream is to relieve the suffering of children around the world.
I'd seen it work, and I knew that it could work at a grander scale. And so let's go figure out how to do this.
When I came on board, Brody and the team had done a really great job of creating this kind of infrastructure of how to serve these organizations. So really what we did is we took what they had done and we built on that. Hello, Planting Oaks. We are so excited to be with you guys today. And we now have a 16-week curriculum. And by the end of the 16 weeks, we feel you are equipped for the next phase of development, which honestly is fundraising, it's building out your organizational structure, building your board, it's finding housing for your families, and ultimately it's serving kids. And these people want to serve, they just need the resources. All right, y'all, we are so excited to have you here. This is so fun. We have Australia in the house, all the way to Phoenix City, Alabama. We have a group of about 20 people from 11 organizations who are here to learn everything about Big Oak Ranch.
So let's dive into it. This is tactical, intentional stuff that you can take and learn how to articulate it.
We're going to talk a lot about perspective and balance so that we can put creative solutions into practice.
I feel like we've been drinking from a fire hydrant.
Have a plan and have a system and build that framework that you run all of your operations out of.
Here you have 50 years of this incredible service to the most vulnerable. And others are now looking at it and saying, we can do that too.
We're in the early days of the establishment of this and going through a lot of those initial questions about the structure and the setup and how it all looks, and have been looking for someone who's been there and done it. And I read a book from someone who had been through the child welfare system herself and said, there is only one place I will trust in the whole of America, and that's Big Oak.
What would normally be this big, huge, daunting, almost impossible task, Big Oak says, well, look, we're the ones that God used to help get us here. Let us help you.
And it's completely free. For them, it was just like, well, of course we would. We're all on the same plan. We're not in competition. We're here to save children.
Through Planting Oaks, our goal is to have the greatest influence and impact that this country has ever seen for orphan, neglected, abused, abandoned children. We're going to do it together. Amen? Let's pray. Father, thank you for this time. Thank you for these people. Lord, thank you. Anybody want to be on camera? Huh? You do? Jilly Bean? Come tell them about yourself, Jilly. Come on. Come on. She came when she was a toddler, and now here she is about to graduate. You got those people boxed out, and they're wondering why you won't let them by. You got anything you want to tell them? No? Y'all can go ahead. I know this is awkward. I get it. She came when she was 6, and now she's a senior and graduating. Yeah, it's pretty cool. She's an awesome, awesome kid. Young adult, whatever.
The Lord has given us this burden to serve more than what is in our walls. But God has this way of bringing us back to the one who is broken, the one who just needs a chance.
What's up, buddy? How are you, man? Do you know what today is? It's the promise day, right? So you ready? All right, here we go. Number 1, we love you.
Child, innocent as starlight, veil spread against the moon.
Have you ever really deeply felt love before? You're not sure? Well, I hope that you experience it here. It's why we're here.
And here's the thing about our love is it doesn't cost you anything. You don't owe us anything for it. It's our free gift to you.
We just hope one day we get the opportunity to earn your love back.
You know, our 4 promises are more than just promises. Those are the bedrock of who we are. But those promises are nothing if they are not our actions. And so we're going to show you what it looks like.
Push, push. Hey, hey. Big Oak Cattle started with just a really small contingent of boys that wanted to chase some cows around, and it's grown into a self-sustaining, naturally grown beef production system for our ranch family. Bring that one. But the bigger mission is to grow kids, give kids an opportunity to achieve.
We gotta open it, here come the calves. Let them come on by.
To give them an opportunity to chase a goal. Hey, that was textbook right there.
Hey, good work. Good job. Our second promise to you is that we'll never lie to you.
We commit to you to tell you the truth no matter what. Even if it hurts, we'll do it out of love, but we know that it's what you need in that moment. Number 3, we'll stick with you until you're grown.
Welcome. So many exciting things going on.
The newest part of Big Oak Ranch is Ascend in Birmingham. Really neat place. It's for young adults making the transition from high school to college or to a career.
And so now, as our kids graduate from high school, they move to Birmingham and they embark on their path, their journey to independence.
Basically, we're going to help your vision for your life come to life.
And that's why we're here, is for you to find that path to purpose.
And lastly is the last promise. There's boundaries. What are boundaries? They're rules, correct? They are there to keep you safe. That is the only thing rules are there for. But there comes a point where what you have to do becomes what you want to do because you couldn't imagine doing it any other way.
Beautiful in power,
kept asking about treasure.
How are you?
Good.
Hello. How are you? So good to see you.
You talked to Brody? I hadn't talked to him today, no. There he is. What's up, brother? How are you, bro? I'm good.
John started this great journey.
Welcome. I'm glad y'all are here.
We see that coming to reality every single time we have a reunion. And we have over 600 family members come back and share in the joy of the day. It brings so much joy.
What you're going to experience here is love. And you know what? If you receive love, all the other promises will make sense.
Man, this is a lot of people, isn't it? Is this not the best turnout ever? We see the little grandbabies over here running around playing with our current littles that was the you 25 years ago. We honor the ones who were the overcomers. That said, you know what? I'm not going to let that be my future.
Our former residents are our business owners. They are teachers. They serve our country. They are coaching their children's teams. We have former residents that are currently serving as house parents. They're serving the child that they grew up as.
The perspective that you have to keep is that the seed that is planted, it can either be viewed as buried or it can be viewed as planted. And we just choose to view it as planted.
Welcome home, everybody.
This is my wife, Casey. We've been married for 5 years now and are looking forward to our first child being born in about a month.
That child is gonna be the one that breaks the cycle of abuse, of abandonment, of neglect. But their grandchildren are gonna be the ones that totally change a generation.
What are you doing?
See, because that child that we're currently serving, they're experiencing the pain, but they're also the ones that have to break the cycle. Their children are going to know of the pain.
Ready? Go!
The grandchild will never know of the pain. At that point in time, generations begin to change.
Let's add up the numbers 50 years from now. 50 years from now, all of those kids will have gotten out and they'll have children and they'll have grandchildren. Only God can count all of the apples in one seed.
Absolutely.
No, nobody knows it. One knows it. Yeah, there you go. There we go.
What about it, ladies and gentlemen? Are you ready for the best rodeo ever? Big Oak Ranch, one time, let me hear you scream.
We are honored that you guys would come and spend this rainy Sunday afternoon to celebrate 50 years with us. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Thank you to you supporters, you heroes, past residents, you future hero kids. We're gonna have an awesome, awesome, awesome night.
To know God gave us a chance to help a little girl not be hurt anymore. Help a little boy realize he's not worthless. What a joy. The ranch is now doing so many phenomenal things. And the ripple effect, helping thousands of kids every day. That put a smile on an old man's face.
Our superstars for tonight, the kids of this ranch.
To see the legacy that they have created, it's not just changing the community around it. It's not just changing our state. It's truly changing our nation.
As we continue to grow, the roots under that big oak tree just grow deeper. And the deeper the root, the taller the tree, the bigger the branches, the more shade it provides. And that's our calling.
For the past 50 years, we've never wavered from what got us here. What was, still is.
From the very beginning, a foundation was laid that it was God's ranch, it wasn't ours.
And you know, as we continue on into the next 50 years, we have a bold faith that and God is going to use what He has already built in a greater way than we could ever even imagine.
The story of Big Oak Ranch is just God saying, a long time ago, He said, go get orphans. And we're just trying to do what we were told.
Jesus, come now and sit by me. Jesus, come down and sit by me. The weight of the world is too much. You can count